Have you ever wondered why some people reach their 70s with a healthy liver, while others are diagnosed with fatty liver disease, chronic inflammation, or even cirrhosis, despite drinking little or no alcohol? The answer often has less to do with alcohol than most people think. In fact, one of the fastest growing liver diseases in the United States is no longer caused primarily by excessive drinking. It is linked to something far more ordinary: the foods people eat every single day. Your liver is one of the hardest working organs in your body. Every minute of every day it filters your blood, removes toxins, regulates blood sugar, stores vitamins, produces bile for digestion, processes medications, and carries out hundreds of vital chemical reactions that keep you alive. Yet unlike many other organs, your liver rarely complains when it's under stress. It doesn't usually send pain signals. It doesn't demand your attention. Instead, it continues working quietly, even as damage slowly begins to build. That silence is exactly what makes liver disease so dangerous. According to the American Liver Foundation, millions of adults are living with liver disease, and many have absolutely no idea they have it. Early fatty liver disease often develops without noticeable symptoms. You may feel perfectly healthy while fat gradually accumulates inside your liver cells, inflammation slowly increases, and normal liver function begins to decline. By the time warning signs finally appear, the condition may already have progressed much further than anyone expected. Now, before we continue, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. This video is not designed to make you afraid of food. No single meal is going to destroy your liver. No single ingredient guarantees liver disease. Your health is shaped by long-term habits, not isolated moments. The purpose of this video is education. Because once you understand how everyday foods affect your liver over months and years, you can begin making small changes that may have a meaningful impact on your long-term health. For more than 2 decades, researchers have studied the relationship between nutrition, metabolism, and liver disease. Again and again, they have reached the same conclusion. The foods we eat consistently matter far more than we realize. Excess added sugar, highly processed foods, unhealthy dietary patterns, and chronic overconsumption of calories can gradually overwhelm the liver's ability to manage fat efficiently. Over time, this may contribute to metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, a condition that has become increasingly common among adults over the age of 50. Throughout this video, I'll introduce 7 everyday foods that deserve a closer look. Some of them may already be in your refrigerator, others may be sitting in your pantry right now. A few are even advertised as healthy choices. But before we reveal the first one, remember this: the goal isn't to eliminate every food you enjoy. It's to recognize which everyday habits may quietly place extra stress on one of the most important organs in your body. Let's begin with the first food, because this one surprises almost everyone. The first food is sugary breakfast cereals and refined breakfast pastries. For decades, breakfast has been promoted as the most important meal of the day. And while that statement may be true for many people, what you choose to eat for breakfast can make an enormous difference to your metabolic health. Millions of Americans start their morning with sweetened breakfast cereals, flavored instant oatmeal packets, toaster pastries, muffins, pancakes covered in syrup, waffles, or breakfast bars. These foods are convenient, inexpensive, and heavily marketed as quick sources of energy. Some are even fortified with vitamins, creating the impression that they're healthy. But beneath the colorful packaging often lies a combination of refined flour, added sugars, and rapidly digestible carbohydrates that your liver must process every single morning. When you consume large amounts of added sugar and refined carbohydrates, your blood glucose rises rapidly. Your pancreas responds by releasing insulin, allowing that glucose to enter your body's cells. However, when your body consistently receives more sugar than it needs for immediate energy, your liver begins converting some of that excess into fat through a natural metabolic process known as de novo lipogenesis. This process is completely normal in moderation. The problem develops when it's repeatedly activated day after day, year after year. Gradually, tiny fat droplets may begin accumulating inside liver cells. At first, this causes no pain, no discomfort, and almost no warning signs. That's why so many people remain unaware that changes are taking place. Scientific research has consistently shown that dietary patterns high in added sugars and excess calories are associated with a greater risk of fatty liver disease, particularly when combined with obesity, insulin resistance, or physical inactivity. The encouraging news is that this is also one of the easiest habits to improve. Replacing highly sweetened cereals with plain oatmeal, unsweetened whole grain options, eggs, Greek yogurt without added sugar, fresh fruit or other minimally processed breakfasts can help reduce unnecessary sugar intake while providing longer-lasting energy throughout the day. These aren't dramatic lifestyle changes. They're small, practical decisions repeated hundreds of times over the course of a year. And as you'll soon discover, breakfast isn't the only meal quietly affecting your liver. The second food on our list is something millions of people drink every single day, believing it's refreshing, harmless, or even healthy. Yet scientists have spent years studying its connection with fatty liver disease, and the findings may surprise you. The second food is sugar-sweetened beverages. If I asked you to name the biggest source of added sugar in the average American diet, many people would immediately think of candy, cake, or ice cream. Surprisingly, those aren't always the biggest contributors. For millions of adults, the largest source of added sugar comes from what they drink. Soft drinks, sweetened iced teas, energy drinks, sports drinks, flavored coffees, bottled smoothies, fruit punches, lemonade, and even some juices marketed as natural or healthy can contain extraordinary amounts of added sugar in a single serving. What makes sugary beverages especially concerning isn't simply the sugar they contain. It's the way your body processes them. Unlike solid foods, liquids move through the digestive system quickly and provide very little lasting fullness. You can consume hundreds of calories in just a few minutes without feeling satisfied, making it remarkably easy to exceed your daily energy needs without realizing it. Every one of those excess calories eventually reaches your liver. One ingredient researchers have studied extensively is fructose. Fructose naturally exists in whole fruits, where it's packaged with fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. In that natural form, fruit remains an important part of a healthy diet for most people. The concern is different when large amounts of added sugars containing fructose are consumed through sweetened beverages. Because these drinks are absorbed rapidly, your liver becomes the primary organ responsible for metabolizing much of that fructose. Over time, consistently consuming more sugar than your body needs may encourage your liver to convert some of that excess into fat. Researchers have found that diets high in sugar-sweetened beverages are associated with an increased risk of obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease. These conditions don't develop after one soft drink or one sweet tea. They develop gradually through repeated habits that continue for years. Perhaps the most concerning part is that many people don't think of these drinks as desserts. Someone who would never eat 5 chocolate bars in a single afternoon might think nothing of drinking a large soda with lunch, a flavored coffee in the morning, and a sports drink after work. Yet, from your liver's perspective, all of that added sugar still has to be processed. The liver doesn't recognize marketing claims. It responds only to the nutrients it receives. Another challenge is portion size. Over the past several decades, beverage sizes have increased dramatically. What was once considered a large soda decades ago is now often marketed as a medium. As serving sizes continue to grow, so does the amount of sugar people consume without noticing. Reading the nutrition facts label can be eye-opening. Some beverages contain more added sugar than many desserts, despite being promoted as refreshing everyday drinks. The good news is that this is one of the easiest lifestyle habits to improve. Replacing sugary beverages with water, sparkling water without added sugar, unsweetened tea, or black coffee can significantly reduce overall sugar intake. If plain water feels boring, adding slices of lemon, lime, cucumber, or fresh berries can provide flavor without large amounts of added sugar. These simple substitutions may seem small today, but over the course of months and years, they can substantially reduce the metabolic workload placed on your liver. Remember, protecting your liver isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. One healthier choice rarely changes your future. But thousands of healthier choices made over many years absolutely can. Now let's move to the third food. This one isn't sweet at all. In fact, it's one of the most popular high-protein foods in America. It's found in breakfast sandwiches, backyard barbecues, pizza toppings, lunchboxes, and countless restaurant meals. Many people eat it every day without realizing that researchers have raised important questions about how frequent consumption of heavily processed meats may affect long-term metabolic health. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. The third food is processed meats. Bacon sizzling in a frying pan, sausage served with breakfast, pepperoni on pizza, hot dogs at family cookouts, deli meats layered into sandwiches for a quick lunch. These foods have become part of everyday life for millions of Americans. They're convenient, flavorful, inexpensive, and rich in protein, which leads many people to believe they're a healthy choice. But when researchers look beyond the protein content and examine how these foods are manufactured, a different picture begins to emerge. Unlike fresh cuts of meat, processed meats are typically preserved through smoking, curing, salting, or the addition of preservatives to extend shelf life and enhance flavor. These methods make the products convenient, but they also change their nutritional profile. Many processed meats contain significantly higher amounts of sodium, saturated fat, and preservatives than fresh poultry, fish, or lean cuts of beef. Now, it's important to keep this in perspective. Eating a hot dog at a baseball game or enjoying bacon with breakfast once in a while isn't likely to determine the future of your liver. The concern arises when processed meats become a daily habit for years. Nutrition researchers consistently find that dietary patterns high in ultra-processed foods are associated with obesity, insulin resistance, and other metabolic conditions that increase the risk of fatty liver disease. One reason is simple. Processed meats are often consumed alongside other highly processed foods. White bread, French fries, sugary drinks, chips, creamy sauces, and desserts. Together, these meals can become extremely high in calories, while providing relatively little fiber, fruits, vegetables, or whole grains. Over time, excess calorie intake may lead to fat accumulation within liver cells, placing additional stress on an organ that's already working around the clock. Researchers are also studying how compounds formed during meat processing may influence inflammation and metabolic health. While scientists continue investigating the exact biological mechanisms, current dietary guidelines consistently recommend limiting processed meat consumption and choosing more minimally processed protein sources whenever possible. Fortunately, making healthier choices doesn't mean giving up protein. Fresh chicken, turkey, fish, beans, lentils, eggs, tofu, and lean cuts of meat can all provide high-quality protein, while generally containing fewer preservatives and less sodium than many processed alternatives. Even small adjustments, like preparing sandwiches with grilled chicken instead of processed deli meat a few times each week, can improve the overall quality of your diet over the long term. Another helpful habit is learning to read ingredient labels. If a product contains a long list of preservatives, excessive sodium, or ingredients you rarely see in your own kitchen, it may be worth comparing it with a less processed alternative. Simple awareness often leads to better choices without requiring extreme diets or strict food rules. Your liver doesn't expect perfection. It simply responds to the pattern you create over months and years. Every balanced meal gives it a little more support. Every healthier substitution reduces some of the unnecessary metabolic work it has to perform. And now we come to the fourth food. This one is impossible to miss. It's served in nearly every fast food restaurant, ordered at sporting events, family gatherings, and drive-through windows across the country. It's crispy, delicious, incredibly popular. And when eaten too often, it may quietly place extra stress on your liver in ways many people never consider. The fourth food is fried fast foods. Few foods are as tempting as something that's hot, crispy, and freshly fried. Whether it's fried chicken, French fries, onion rings, fried fish, mozzarella sticks, or other deep-fried favorites, these meals have become a regular part of modern life. They're quick, satisfying, and available almost everywhere. For many people, stopping at a drive-thru after a long day feels easier than cooking at home. And while enjoying fried food occasionally isn't likely to harm your liver, making it a routine habit over many years may gradually increase your risk of metabolic liver disease. The reason isn't just the oil, it's the combination of factors working together. Fried foods are often high in calories, refined carbohydrates, unhealthy fats, and sodium. Because they're extremely energy-dense, it's surprisingly easy to consume far more calories than your body actually needs before you even begin to feel full. Every extra calorie your body doesn't immediately use must eventually be processed, and much of that responsibility falls on your liver. During deep frying, food is exposed to extremely high temperatures. At the same time, the cooking oil undergoes chemical changes. If the same oil is heated repeatedly, as may happen in commercial kitchens, oxidation products begin to form. Researchers continue studying these compounds because some have been associated with increased oxidative stress and inflammation. While occasional exposure isn't the primary concern, regular consumption of heavily fried foods over many years contributes to an overall dietary pattern linked with obesity, insulin resistance, and fatty liver disease. There's another reason fried fast foods can quietly become a problem. They rarely come alone. A typical fast food meal often includes French fries, a sugary soft drink, dipping sauces, and dessert. What starts as a single meal can easily exceed an entire day's recommended calories, added sugars, and sodium. It's this overall pattern, not one individual meal, that gradually places extra pressure on your liver. Food scientists also understand that fried foods are designed to be highly rewarding. The combination of crispy texture, salt, fat, and aroma activates pleasure centers in the brain, encouraging people to eat larger portions and crave them more frequently. This doesn't mean you're lacking self-control. It simply means your brain naturally responds to foods engineered to be extremely enjoyable. Fortunately, there are practical alternatives that don't require giving up your favorite meals completely. Baking, grilling, roasting, steaming, or using an air fryer can create delicious meals with significantly less added fat. Preparing homemade versions also allows you to control the ingredients, portion sizes, and cooking methods. Even replacing 1 or 2 fast food meals each week with home-cooked alternatives can make a meaningful difference over time. Think about your liver as a lifelong partner. It never takes a day off. It continues filtering toxins, regulating nutrients, and supporting your metabolism every hour of every day. The quality of the fuel you provide directly influences how efficiently it can perform those responsibilities. Small improvements repeated consistently often produce far greater long-term benefits than short periods of extreme dieting. Now we're halfway through our list, and the 5th food is one that almost everyone has sitting somewhere in their kitchen right now. It's found in pantries, freezers, and kitchen cabinets across America. Many people buy it because it's affordable, convenient, and saves time. Yet hidden inside many of these products is something that quietly increases your overall metabolic workload, often without you even realizing it. Let's take a closer look. The 5th food is high-sodium ultra-processed foods. Open almost any kitchen pantry in America, and you'll probably find at least a few of them. Canned soups, frozen dinners, instant noodles, boxed pasta meals, packaged rice mixes, frozen pizzas, flavored sauces, ready-to-eat meals, and countless other convenience foods have become staples of modern life. They're inexpensive, easy to prepare, and perfect for busy schedules. But convenience often comes with a hidden nutritional cost that many people never notice. When most people think about sodium, they immediately picture the salt shaker sitting on the dinner table. Surprisingly, that's not where most dietary sodium comes from. According to public health experts, the majority of sodium in the American diet comes from packaged and restaurant foods that have already been processed before they ever reach your kitchen. In many cases, a single frozen meal or canned soup can contain a large portion of an entire day's recommended sodium intake. Now, sodium itself is not the enemy. Your body actually needs sodium for nerve function, muscle contraction, and maintaining fluid balance. The problem begins when sodium intake consistently exceeds your body's needs over long periods of time. High sodium dietary patterns are strongly associated with elevated blood pressure, and many of the same eating habits that increase sodium intake are also linked with obesity, insulin resistance, and metabolic dysfunction, conditions that place additional stress on the liver. There's another important reason these foods deserve attention. Ultra-processed meals rarely contain just one nutritional concern. Many are also high in refined carbohydrates, unhealthy fats, added sugars, preservatives, and excess calories, while being relatively low in fiber, vitamins, and naturally occurring plant nutrients. This combination creates a dietary pattern that can gradually affect not only your liver but also your heart, kidneys, and overall metabolic health. Researchers continue to study the relationship between ultra-processed food consumption and chronic disease, and one message remains remarkably consistent. People who eat more minimally processed foods, such as vegetables, fruits, beans, whole grains, nuts, lean proteins, and home-cooked meals, generally experience better long-term health outcomes than those whose diets rely heavily on packaged convenience foods. The encouraging part is that improving your diet doesn't require eliminating every frozen meal or canned product overnight. Simple habits can make a meaningful difference. Compare nutrition facts labels before buying packaged foods. Choose lower sodium versions whenever possible. Add fresh vegetables to frozen meals to increase fiber and nutrients. Prepare larger home-cooked meals and freeze individual portions so healthy options are just as convenient as processed ones. Small decisions like these gradually reshape your eating habits without making life more complicated. Remember, your liver doesn't judge one dinner. It responds to thousands of meals over the course of a lifetime. Every healthier choice slightly reduces its workload, allowing it to continue performing the hundreds of vital functions your body depends on every single day. And now we arrive at the sixth food. This one satisfies a sweet tooth and brings comfort after a long day. It's often shared during birthdays, holidays, office celebrations, and family gatherings. Most people know these foods aren't exactly healthy, but very few realize how easily an occasional treat can quietly become a daily habit that affects far more than just the number on the scale. The sixth food is packaged desserts and baked goods. Few things are as comforting as a warm cookie, a glazed donut with morning coffee, a slice of cake after dinner, or a freshly baked pastry on the way to work. These treats are deeply woven into everyday life. Birthdays, holidays, family gatherings, coffee breaks, and even stressful afternoons often revolve around something sweet. There's nothing wrong with enjoying dessert from time to time. The concern begins when occasional treats quietly become an everyday habit. Most commercially packaged desserts are carefully designed to be irresistible. They typically combine refined flour, added sugars, saturated fats, and highly processed ingredients in proportions that encourage people to keep eating. At the same time, they usually provide very little fiber, protein, or nutrients that help you feel full. As a result, it's surprisingly easy to consume hundreds of extra calories in just a few bites without feeling satisfied for very long. Every time excess calories enter your body, your liver helps decide what to do with them. If your body's immediate energy needs have already been met, some of that excess energy may eventually be stored as fat. When this pattern continues week after week and year after year, fat can gradually accumulate in the liver, particularly in people who already have obesity, insulin resistance, or type 2 diabetes. Scientists continue to emphasize that it's the long-term dietary pattern, not one slice of cake, that influences liver health the most. Another challenge with packaged desserts is how easily they fit into daily routines. A muffin with breakfast, cookies during the afternoon, ice cream after dinner. None of these choices seem significant on its own, but together they can dramatically increase your daily intake of added sugars and refined carbohydrates. Because these habits often become automatic, many people don't realize how much sugar they're consuming until they begin reading food labels carefully. One simple strategy recommended by many nutrition professionals is to satisfy your sweet cravings with foods that also provide nutritional value. Fresh berries, apples, pears, oranges, and other whole fruits naturally contain sweetness, but they also deliver fiber, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support overall health. If you do enjoy dessert, consider making it an intentional treat rather than an automatic part of every day. Balance is almost always more sustainable than strict restriction. It's also worth remembering that improving liver health doesn't require perfection. You don't need to eliminate every cookie, every birthday cake, or every holiday dessert. Lasting health usually comes from consistent habits, not extreme rules. Replacing even a few processed desserts each week with healthier alternatives may seem like a small step. But over the course of months and years, those choices begin to add up in meaningful ways. As we approach the final food on today's list, I want you to think about something. What if one of the foods placing extra stress on your liver isn't something you consider unhealthy at all? What if it's a product you've been buying specifically because the label tells you it's good for you? The seventh and final food may be the most surprising of all, because it's often hiding behind words like high protein, low fat, natural, and healthy choice. The seventh and final food is processed healthy convenience foods. This may be the biggest surprise in today's video because these products are often purchased with the best intentions. Walk through the health food aisle of almost any supermarket, and you'll see shelves filled with protein bars, flavored low-fat yogurts, meal replacement shakes, high-protein snacks, granola bars, and products covered with words like natural, whole grain, low-fat, heart-healthy, or high protein. At first glance, they appear to be the perfect choice for anyone trying to improve their health. But the front of the package doesn't always tell the whole story. Nutrition experts often describe this as the health halo effect. When a product highlights one positive feature, consumers naturally assume the entire product must be healthy. A snack may be high in protein while also containing large amounts of added sugar. A yogurt may be low in fat but packed with sweeteners. A granola bar may contain whole grains while also delivering as much sugar as a candy bar. This doesn't mean these foods are automatically harmful. It simply means marketing claims should never replace reading the nutrition facts label. The healthiest eating patterns are usually built around foods that don't need much marketing at all. Fresh vegetables, fruits, beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, whole grains, fish, lean poultry, eggs, and minimally processed dairy products have been studied for decades and continue to form the foundation of many evidence-based dietary recommendations. These foods provide vitamins, minerals, fiber, healthy fats, and high-quality protein without relying heavily on long ingredient lists or excessive added sugars. One of the simplest habits you can develop is turning every package over before placing it into your shopping cart. Look at the ingredient list. Check the amount of added sugar. Compare sodium levels. Pay attention to serving sizes. Two products that appear almost identical from the front can have dramatically different nutritional profiles. Those extra 30 seconds spent reading the label may help you make a healthier decision hundreds of times throughout the year. Now, let's bring everything together. Today we explored 7 everyday foods that may quietly place extra stress on your liver when they become regular parts of an unhealthy dietary pattern. Sugary breakfast cereals and refined pastries, sugar-sweetened beverages, processed meats, fried fast foods, high-sodium ultra-processed meals, packaged desserts and baked goods, and processed healthy convenience foods. None of these foods guarantees liver disease, and none should be viewed with fear. What truly matters is your overall lifestyle, your daily habits, your physical activity, your body weight, and the choices you repeat consistently over many years. The remarkable thing about the liver is its resilience. Unlike many organs, the liver has an extraordinary ability to repair and regenerate itself when harmful habits are reduced early enough. For many people, improving nutrition, staying physically active, maintaining a healthy weight, and following their healthcare provider's advice can significantly improve liver health over time. It's never about being perfect, it's about giving your body the support it deserves. So let me ask you one final question. Which of these 7 foods surprised you the most? Was it the breakfast cereals, the sugary drinks, the processed meats, or the so-called healthy snacks? Leave your answer in the comments below. I read every comment, and your suggestions help shape future videos on this channel. If there's another health topic you'd like us to explore using evidence-based research, let us know. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with someone you care about. A parent, a spouse, a friend, or anyone over the age of 50. Sometimes one reliable piece of information is all it takes to inspire healthier choices that can make a meaningful difference over time. And if you enjoy science-based health content explained in a clear and practical way, Be sure to subscribe to Vital Health Today for more videos on healthy aging, nutrition, disease prevention, and long-term wellness. Before we finish, one important reminder. This video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It should not be considered medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Every person's health is unique, and nutritional needs may vary depending on medical conditions, medications, and individual circumstances. Always consult your physician or another qualified healthcare professional before making significant changes to your diet or lifestyle. Thank you for watching. I'm grateful you spent these moments with us today. Take care of your liver because it quietly takes care of you every single day. And I'll see you in the next video.